you have just joined us on our EKSE Live, congratulations, because you have made it halfway through the week. Shout out to J Milan, RSA, and of course the CBU for holding it down.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are still talking about everything that has to do about ETech and science. Want to learn more about it? I've learned so much about it, and it's only the beginning of the first half of the show. And of course, to continue that conversation, we have Thoko, Miya, who is part of the conversation here namhlanje, and she's going to be telling us more about a program that is she a part of, because she is, of course, the program director at Eagles Hype Coding Academy, which aims at developing young girls.
Yeah, I love that, and I love the fact that, I don't know, for some reason I've always thought like tech was for men, which is like a very strange and weird thing, but I love the fact that there's things like Girls Hype, that is all about coding for women and young girls who are wanting to come up in the tech world, okay? So Thoko, thank you so much for joining us, and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, and I'm really excited at the comments that you guys have both made. But firstly, thank you for the wonderful introduction. One misconception that people always make is that tech is for males.
Yes.
You know, that's actually what we worked towards bridging the gap at Girl Hype with, which is that there's a huge gap in industry. If I can tell you that the tech industry is at the moment 23% male locally in South Africa, and internationally is 26% male. So in that perspective, when you think that economies actually thrive better and there's greater gender equity when women have higher paying jobs, you would think that more women would enter into technology and bridge that gap and move beyond the 23%, move beyond the 26%, and actually penetrate into this industry that is so exciting at the moment.
Why wouldn't you want to do that?
Why?
Before we get into the nitty-gritties of like what you do at Girl Hype and all the lovely ladies that you work with, I want to find out, if my viewer out there has never ever heard of coding, how can you define that for them?
Okay, so I'm also a teacher. I teach coding to high school girls across South Africa, and particularly between the ages of 15 and 18. I also run programs for school leavers between 18 and about 25, and do graduate programs and internships for the post, as well as industry people who want to get into tech. So I actually answer this question all the time, which is that coding would essentially be the language that you write, which in tech lingo, we'd say the technology behind the product, right? So the code would be like your alphabet, and when you put the code together, you're able to create this beautiful language that makes interactions, that creates algorithms, that creates the building blocks of what we call apps, right? So behind what we see on the screen is a whole lot of code that's put together so that, you know, every time you scroll on your screen, actually that's a beautiful function. So there's a, you know, a press button, and coding works a lot on logic. So if this, then that. If you press this button, then send email, right? So that's a bit about coding, but I would essentially say it's the foundation, it's the building blocks of programming and software. And, you know, it's really beautiful in terms of where we're headed now, because coding is become accessible for all different levels of people. So, you know, previously where technology was seen as a very male, but also as a highly technical subject that people usually enter into because they are adept, they have an aptitude. We're breaking that gap, and we're creating an opportunity. The COVID pandemic and moving post-pandemic, and you know, actually looking at the future of work, we've created this kind of technology revolution, the fourth IR, which is saying that the future of work has to have every single person able to access and actually take part within the tech revolution, right? So that's irrespective of whether they live in an urban or informal or rural environment, accessibility, affordability, gender, religion, all these things.
And you speak so passionately about, you know, the industry that you're part of. Tell us, where did it all begin for you? Why did you decide that, you know what, this is the industry where I want to submit myself in?
Okay, so I've got a bit of a different story. So my story is that I grew up with technology all around me. And as a result of being immersed within technology over the time period that, you know, I grew up, my parents were both entrepreneurs and they were always very tech savvy. So I ended up going to coding classes. My mom threw me into coding classes, and I was doing like first year level HTML courses when I was 11, right? I was
Your
up
mom
at
was onto
CPUT.
something.
She was onto it. Honestly, she's the dawn of the coding industry and women in technology. So I'm really proud and passionate about that. And so that's how I got into it. And basically, I've been coding ever since. My first job, I was a website developer, and I was building content management platforms, and later went into full stack development, and then moved into project management afterwards. But you know, interestingly, at this age, I always thought that I would never go back into the technical work, and I actually have gone back into the technical work.
You went in full force, especially with Girl Hive.
Yes.
So please talk to me about that, because we're really excited to hear about the amazing things that you guys do.
Okay, so Girl Hive is a very exciting project.
Right.
It's a non-profit company, so we're civil sector, and what we do is bridge the gap in gender and technology, providing opportunities for women to enter into technology and gender access. Right. So we basically, our main focus is women and girls, and how can we empower women and girls to gain the types of skills that are so required for the technology world, right? So future-proofing, future mapping, but also just creating better diversity and inclusion, education, research initiatives, classes, actual technical skills, and at the core of our work is empowerment.
Yes.
So
I am all for women empowerment. When you speak about empowerment, I'm like, yes, let's hop on that train, because we really do need to recognize the social circumstances that we're living under. You know, the gap between men and women, and when it comes to industries such as tech, is very large. So, for example, if someone, not example rather, but for instance, if someone is watching this show right now and they're a young girl sitting at Kaili Chokanye Basenyang or in Camps Bay, and they're like, listen, I want to be a part of this movement. I want to be a part of Girl Hive. How can they contact you, and how can they make sure that they are part of it?
All right, so Girl Hive has a website. It's www.girlhive.co.za. We also, you can search African Girls Code, but Girl Hive, you'll find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. The best way would be to go onto our website and send a message to the contact form, and or go onto social media and search Girl Hive. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and or go find me. I'm sure my name has been on the screen somewhere. Right, that's perfect. So you can @Thoko Miya, and you'll find me. Please DM me. I would be more than happy to share with your audiences.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to a quick break. We'll see you guys right after this.
Masbuya.